Hey guys, this is ShadSilvson11 here. This next commentary that I'm doing was part of a little contest I did, where I would ask people to request me commentaries and then pick one out at random. This commentary was requested by SpiderSonic91 and it's on XPlay's Metroid Other M review. Okay, firstly I just want to clarify something. I've never played Metroid Other M, mainly because I'm not a big Metroid fan. The only Metroid game that I ever really took a liking to was Metroid Prime on the GameCube. Other than that, I've always preferred Mega Man. But XPlay's reviewer, Morgan Webb, did a review on the game, and that term is used very loosely, because 1, barely anything was explained to do with the gameplay, and 2, it was more of a rant than a review. Because this video was so short, this commentary will most likely be short. So, let us see Morgan Webb's review of Metroid Other M.
Metroid Other M seemed to hold promise when it was first announced, but now it has arrived, and holy crap, it sucks for so many reasons! Hang on tight, Metroid fans, this is gonna hurt.
Wow, I can tell we're already off to a good start.
The story is a far bigger part of the game than in any previous Metroids, and it's a big part of the problem. The conspiracy side of the tale is just fine, but mostly it's concerned with Samus and her vast, sweeping insecurities related to her past.
I think because in the earlier Metroid games, you hardly knew anything about Samus Aran, so I think they were trying to give us a bit more of a look at her past. Personally, I don't see what's wrong with a bit of character development.
Samus's characterization in Other M is absolutely unacceptable, and frankly insulting to her fans in general and female fans specifically.
How exactly is it unacceptable? Also, I don't really see how being a female makes it any more insulting than being a male.
This woman has saved the galaxy half a dozen times over, and she's standing around moping over this Adam guy in long, droning monologues that sound less like the most badass bounty hunter in known space and more like a 12-year-old girl reading her journal.
And this is bad because... Okay, some people have complained about it, but I don't see what's so wrong with giving the character a bit of background and development. But then again, I haven't played the game yet. But still, I'm not exactly convinced by someone who's just bitching about Samus's backstory for half the review. I'm not joking about that, because it's insulting to a badass character. Apparently.
Here's a good idea. Have a point. It makes it so much more interesting for the listener.
Confession time.
Don't come around if you're lost until you consider what it will cost. You pull me the
You!
big little delicate moment.
This is one of the strongest and non-sexualized female characters in gaming, and now she's constantly showing us her ass and mooning over this utterly personality-free Adam guy. She's so submissive to him that the reason you don't have your power-ups in the beginning is not because she doesn't have her power-up abilities, but because she decides not to use them until Adam says it's okay.
Okay, ShadowStar1224 has said this to the Nostalgia Critic, and now I'm going to say this to you. Heroic acts can often come from the heroes being resourceful. Some heroes don't use their powers all the time because they are worried they might hurt someone or cause damage. Maybe Samus is worried about that, so she only uses her powers when she's told it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Samus, I'm authorizing missile use!
Dude, you couldn't even open the front door without Samus's help. The third-person action is a blend of Ninja Gaiden and Metroid and works pretty well.
What gameplay aspects are similar to that of Ninja Gaiden? For people who are new to the game, like me, you probably should go into detail on how the gameplay has elements from those games.
Aside from the inconsistent auto-aim that's forced on you.
Again, I must insist you show or describe examples of how this can be a problem when playing the game.
First-person view is the only way to shoot missiles and scan things, and you're stuck standing still during this. The problem is that you control third-person with the Wiimote held sideways, and first-person by rotating the Wiimote and pointing it at the screen. So there is always a moment of, wait, where's my reticle, every time you switch to first-person.
Okay, I have been told that you hold the Wiimote sideways to take control of the third-person shooting, and then point it at the screen to go into first-person mode. Personally, I think it sounds like a quick and simple method to switch to different views. And again, because you never went into any detail, I don't have a clue how this is a problem in the gameplay.
Boss battles basically consist of finding enough time to switch to first person and fire off a missile without being creamed.
Why do I get the feeling these bosses aren't exactly that hard, but she just sucks at them? I don't know what gave me that impression. I wonder if she's related in any way to George Wood.
But hey, if you run low on health or missiles, you no longer have to kill enemies to replenish them. You just hold the A button and concentrate, and your health and missiles refill. Yes, Samus gets more missiles by thinking about it really hard. It's stupid.
Okay, I'll admit that does sound kinda stupid and a cheap way to replenish your health. But then again, if you're complaining about that, you might as well complain about games where your health automatically replenishes by just standing still. Like the lower difficulties on GoldenEye for the Wii, for example. And don't you dare do a review on that game.
Metroid Other M is a giant pulsing morass of bad decisions.
Okay, so let's recap. What bad decisions has this game made? Number 1, giving Samus character development. Number 2, having her think for missiles. 3, oh shit, I gotta think of more flaws. Making her a resourceful hero. 4, the game sucks.
2 massive thumbs down out of 5.
Okay, so that's where the review ends. So what have I learnt from this quote review? Well, all I know is I learned jack shit about the game Morgan Webb was supposed to be reviewing. I can't even classify this as a review because she went into as little detail as possible, and it wasn't as much reviewing as it was ranting. Now, I remember early back I made a review of Sonic Genesis for the Game Boy Advance, but now I feel that was more of a rant than a review, and in hindsight, the review wasn't that great. But that was excusable because 1, it was one of my earlier reviews, and 2, I'm just a YouTuber. This is supposed to be a professional reviewer, someone who does it for a living. Okay, now I'm convinced she really is related somehow to George Wood, because they both seem to moan more than review. Because of this video and their Sonic Colors review, I don't think I can trust XPlay with their reviews anymore. So if anyone has played Metroid Other M, let me know what it's like, and try to do better than this review. And Morgan Webb, I have one last thing to say to you.
You are an idiot!
So this is ShadSilvson11 saying goodbye, take care, and if you excuse me, I'm going to watch a review of Metroid Other M from a competent reviewer. GameKing53. Hey guys, it's ShadSilvson11 here with a brand new commentary. This one was actually suggested by a friend of mine, ShadSilvson1150. Remember XPlay and their Metroid Other M review? Well, I've already had the pleasure of ripping on Morgan Webb. Now we rip on both Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler and their Shadow the Hedgehog review. Oh yeah. Most of you will probably know by now that Shadow the Hedgehog is my favourite 3D Sonic game out there. And XPlay, I feel they went the wrong way about reviewing the game. So you could say I'm defending the game, but more importantly, I'm doing this to show XPlay's sheer stupidity. So let's get this shitfest over with. Badass intro music is not going to save this atrocity of a review.
Do you like Sonic the Hedgehog games?
But do you think you would prefer them if they actually did not have Sonic the Hedgehog in them?
Oh, what?
If they actually did not have Sonic the Hedgehog in them?
Oh,
Did you even play the game? Because Sonic is in it. He's in the intro, and he's one of the main support characters for the hero side. Now, I know what you're all thinking. They probably meant to say that it's a Sonic game where you can't play as Sonic. Well, I still feel the need to correct what they said, as it just goes to show how such a simple error in the script can lead to a bad slip-up like that.
You're in luck. We've got a Hedgehog game with absolutely none of the stuff that makes the Sonic games cool.
Sonic Labyrinth has been out for 15 years already.
Here's our review of Shadow the Hedgehog.
The legend of Groundhog's Day states that if the groundhog sees his shadow, we can expect another 6 weeks of winter. If there are legends surrounding hedgehogs, it might go a little something like this. Shadow the Hedgehog sucks.
You lie!
Okay, I admit that seemed a bit harsh judgment, but the way things have been with X-Play, I just, don't have any hope for them to give a just and detailed review of this game.
Sadly, it's become painfully obvious that Sega has no idea what to do with the Sonic franchise.
And you say this because? Well, if you ask me, the developers, what they did with this game was take the concept of speed and platforming from the previous games, but for this game they add a few tweaks to the gameplay. So if you ask me, they did seem to know what they were doing. And besides, like you know any better. Oh, and just to let you know also, Sonic Team makes the games and Sega publishes them. Just wanted to clear that up.
And instead of letting it retire peacefully, they slapped some lipstick on it, told it to stop crying, and made it go out and dance for another night. First of all, the gameplay is a letdown. It reminds me of what my ex used to say. I'm not mad at your hedgehog, I'm disappointed.
Is this a joke?
Sure, the basic elements from the Sonic Adventure games are here. The large levels filled with obstacles, enemies, and secret paths for collecting rings.
Congratulations, Adam Sessler. You just contradicted what you said earlier about this game having nothing that made the earlier games good. Great fucking job.
But the character control is ridiculously awkward.
How are the controls awkward? I had no problem controlling Shadow, and the buttons responded just fine for me. My only one complaint I had with the controls was that they were a bit slippery at times, but other than that, they're not that bad. They just take time to get used to.
Shadow spends most of his time gliding about like an ice skater with a brain tumor. And this game has worse camera control than Michael Bay.
Again, I must insist you elaborate on how the camera controls are apparently worse than Michael Bay, and how this affects the gameplay. And don't resort to the video did the talking excuse.
Every maneuver is made doubly difficult thanks to that infernal camera. Oh, get over! And in some bizarre attempt to make the game edgy, Sega thought it would be a good idea to introduce firearms into the mix.
Well, I fail to see how that's a bad idea. You see, Sonic Team did it to give Shadow more identity as a character, because in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, people pointed out that Shadow's gameplay was too identical to Sonic's, so they decided to give him guns, vehicles, and chaos powers, and bada bing bada boom, different character, different gameplay. It's not that hard to understand.
The result turns out to be the exact opposite of a good idea. What's that called? Oh yeah, a bad idea.
I was not aware of that.
Sure, you get to blast enemies, but you spend most of your time hunting for ammo and virtually no time running really fast.
Okay, here's my counter-argument to that. Yes, you do hunt for ammo in the levels, but you don't even need the guns to beat some of the levels. They're entirely optional. And as long as you're conservative with ammo, you won't even need to make stops. The game is very generous with ammo, so you do get those moments of running really fast even with the occasional ammo stop. Unless you suck at the game and waste all your ammo like an idiot, which I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case here.
Which is what the whole franchise is based on.
How many times do we need to say this before it gets through everyone's thick heads? Sonic games are not just about speed, they're about platforming as well. Even in the original Sonic the Hedgehog, there were only a handful of levels which involved speed. The rest was platforming. So no, the franchise is not all about speed. I mean, if that was the case, then Sonic Adventure 2 Battle would be a piece of shit compared to Sonic and the Secret Rings.
What's worse is this game could be construed as racist.
Are you fucking kidding me?
The black aliens.
Black aliens.
Committed by the black aliens.
Black
aliens. Eliminate the black aliens.
Kill them all.
But we must stand united to defend our world against these invaders.
That president seems a little too concerned with the real estate value of his planet now that the black aliens have moved in. I bet if it were white aliens, everyone would be all hugs, smiles, and welcome baskets.
Oh my god. Adam Sessler, are you a fucking moron? You're saying, oh, the president is worried about the planet because of the black aliens. Of course he's fucking worried. The aliens are destroying the planet. Oh, but you think they're only trying to stop them because they're black aliens and not white aliens. Not at all to do with the fact that they're destroying the friggin' planet. Do you even realise how stupid that statement was? This game is not promoting racism, and if anything, you're more racist than this game because you made the separation between black and white, you fucking jackass.
I don't believe this guy.
The tragic part of all this is that any hint of racism makes real hedgehogs cry.
I hate to break it to you, but that isn't a real hedgehog. It's just a Sonic plush.
But enough of this negativity. Let me think of something good to say about Shadow. Something good.
I could think of at least 10 things good about the game.
Here we go. The levels. They're big, and there's a lot of them.
But because he couldn't be asked to go into any proper detail, the levels are also awesome because they are varied in their design and have variety to them. They have missions alongside just getting from point A to point B, and you can choose your own story path to take. I think that kicks ass myself.
The only other bright spot in this game is this guy.
It's time to make all final preparations for our ritual.
It's good to see Dr. Claw getting some VO work after Inspector Gadget. We actually dug up some of the outtakes in that recording session. Let's take a listen.
Does it say, I'm going to fet you, Shadow, or is that a typo? Get you? Okay. 3, 2, 1. I'll get you next time, Shadow, next time. What? No? Okay, I just thought I'd throw that in for the fans, but okay. It's your destiny. The power emeralds are... Oh, sorry guys, my bad. Just one second.
I told you never to call me here. Seriously. Later.
Sorry about that, boys. Okay, let's back to one.
Okay, I will admit that was kind of funny. But on the other hand, what does it have to do with reviewing the game? If it doesn't have much of a purpose, you could maybe cut it down to avoid it seeming like it's just padding.
Ultimately, this Shadow leaves us completely in the dark. We give Shadow the Hedgehog a 1 out of 5.
Damn it.
Let me just fix that rating for you. There we go.
Shadow, your obsession with the so-called misdeeds of the black aliens is more than a little offensive.
Did you ever consider that the white aliens may have just been doing the same damage?
Oh god, don't bring this up again, or I'll be forced to direct you to an earlier point in the video.
But through corporations or discriminatory laws?
Ways that are accepted by the gun-toting hedgehogs policing the streets. Hedgehogs that would shoot a brother dead if they found him in the wrong neighborhood.
So essentially what we're saying is race war is the only answer.
Right. For the record, I'm 1/64th Indian princess.
Does this have anything to do with reviewing the game, or is it just filler? Either way, review's over. So yeah, whether you like or dislike Shadow the Hedgehog as a game, I'm sure we can all agree that X-Play's review was complete bollocks. Most of the complaints they had with the game centered around the fact that they suck at the game and they think that black aliens are racist. You know, Adam, it's not always a bright idea to bring up stuff like racism in your reviews, because the way you talked about it, it could give others the wrong idea. So I'm sure you can see why I think Shadow the Hedgehog has been judged unfairly by reviewers. If you want an intelligent Shadow the Hedgehog review, watch Game Trailer's review on it, because they actually gave the game a fair chance. I'm also going to say this. Don't watch X-Play, because Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb are a pair of morons who don't know shit about the games they review. Instead, watch GameSpot or Game Trailer's reviews. Heck, go watch IGN's reviews, because they are more professional than these clowns. So that's all I gotta say. This is ShadSilvson11 saying goodbye, take care, and SonicFan5200, it's great that you finally listened to criticism and apologised. Hey guys, this is ShadSilvson11 here. Sorry if I haven't done a commentary in a while, but I'm back now with a triple whammy commentary. And who better to do one on than the modern day equivalent of gaming in the Clinton years, X-Play. Yeah, for those who know me by now, you'll know how much I despise this show, and I do believe that Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb are indeed two of the worst video game reviewers out there. But let's not ramble on about how much I hate X-Play and all that. Let's just try and sit through their reviews. So the first review we're going to look at is their review of Sonic Generations. Now, we all know how much X-Play despise 3D Sonic games. Even good ones like Sonic Colors get shafted by them. And now they've reviewed Sonic Generations, but there's something different about this review. Holy shit, what's this? They actually gave a Sonic game a 4 out of 5? Well, let's see how they review the game and judge the video afterwards.
Ever since Sega folded its game systems department in 2001, Sonic the Hedgehog has been bumming around like he caught Knuckles with his girlfriend. Sure, he showed up in some games for his former competitors, but his heart really wasn't into it.
Of course, it wouldn't be a Sonic game review without first reminding us of how he fell from glory in the past few years. You know, that shit we've been hearing about in nearly every Sonic review up until this point. This might not seem like a big deal now, but later it will be.
But with the release of the surprisingly good Sonic Generations, it looks like the Hedgehog is finally feeling a bit better about himself. And just like getting over a rough breakup...
Is it just me, or does Morgan Webb at the moment seem to be obsessed with going on about romantic breakups? Well, what do you expect from a Twilight reject like her?
It was Sonic finding himself that led to this inspired new game. Now, while most of us may require therapy or booze to help us rediscover ourselves, Sonic finds himself, his old self, with the use of a time machine.
No, it was due to the mysterious force known as the Time Eater, not a time machine.
I can't believe there's two of me!
One of the benefits of this time travel plot is a collection of greatest hits levels pulled from the last 20 years of games. The place where this game falls down a bit is in button responsiveness. And for anyone who was stuck with Sonic through the dark years, none of the levels will feel new. So hardcore Hedgehog heads should be warned, all the content isn't entirely fresh.
Place is giving me deja vu all over again.
But even with the retread levels and the sluggish responses, it is nice to see Sonic back on his feet and pulling off what feels like his first good game in a decade. That's why we give Sonic Generations 4 other fish in the sea.
Surprise!
Out of 5.
What, that's it? You're not going to discuss the gameplay of the game? What kind of half-assed excuse for a review is that? All there was in this review was a part reminding us of Sonic's fall from glory, a couple of negative points, and then slapping it a 4 out of 5. You know, in order to justify a score like 4 out of 5, you needed to go into elaboration on the game's good points. But the only good point she brought up was that it had a compilation of the older levels. Nothing else to do with the gameplay or anything was explained, and the review was under 2 minutes long, and that's pathetic. So I guess it isn't entirely necessary to talk about how the game functions or how it's designed, but what we do need to always hear is how Sonic's had it rough over the past few years. I mean, I don't care about the score, this review was just a fail. Next up is their Tron Evolution review. Me personally, I found this game to be a decent, albeit frustrating, movie-based platformer. So let's see how Adam Sessler does at reviewing this game.
Welcome to the grid.
Now that you've seen Tron Legacy, you're probably curious about what happened in the time span between the two films. Oh wait, I just remembered. Nobody cares what happened between the movies.
Really? Nobody cares what happened between the first two movies? I'm pretty sure that people who enjoyed the Tron movies, like myself, would at least have marginal interest as to what happened in between. And even IGN listed that as a good point when they reviewed the game, that it bridged the gap between the first two movies. Heck, they're even making an animated series based on the events in between the two movies. So before you make claims like that, you might want to check with the fan base first.
But that hasn't stopped the developers from creating a half-baked clunker of a game that answers a lot of questions that no human being has ever asked or wondered about.
I think you would have preferred death to this.
Oh man, death is sounding so good right now.
Well, might I make a suggestion, Adam? Go to the top of a tall building, jump off, and don't ever touch a video game again.
Things start off with a brief explanation from Kevin Flynn, who was strangely performed by a different voice actor doing an impression of Jeff Bridges.
Well, maybe they weren't able to get Jeff Bridges to do voice acting. Sometimes you gotta make the best with what you got.
Free will, man. Try programming that.
That is a terrible dude impression.
No, it's a Kevin Flynn impression. This ain't the Big Lebowski.
I still can't get over it.
Anyway, things have gotten more complicated in the universe of Tron, and Flynn has created a security program to solve some unexplained anomalies.
And that's where my new system monitor security program comes in. I wrote it to get things under control.
More chore than game, Tron Evolution clumsily tries to incorporate Prince of Persia-style wall running. But the developers couldn't match the finesse of that series, and you'll fall over and over again.
Oh, come on. You did that on purpose. From someone who's played this game, I know for a fact that you aren't supposed to go that way, as it's not even in the boundaries of the level. Sequence breaking is bad.
You see how not fun this jumping sequence looks? It's exactly that not fun to play. The camera is far too zoomed out, and sometimes it has no idea what you want to be looking at. It's like the whole thing is being filmed by a 12-year-old kid who stopped taking his Ritalin.
We have to get to the bottom of this.
We won't spoil any plot details, but we can promise that the talky storyline will put you to sleep faster than a handful of Ambien.
It seems this Abraxas virus was once an ISO.
Okay, I'm bored.
Yeah, did I forget to mention that I have a short attention span? That's why I can't pay attention to the game's story for long enough.
You can ride light cycles, but you don't actually battle with them.
You can in the online multiplayer.
Driving sequences in the game are just there to get you from point A to point B. Granted, the light tank is a fun diversion, and there is one other positive.
Time for a new course.
We love the way you can hop seamlessly from the single-player campaign to multiplayer matches at disc upgrade stations. The downside is that the multiplayer itself is a bit of a mess. Maps are frequently too big for the game types, and the matchmaking is worse than Charlie Sheen and any of his wives.
We just made a Charlie Sheen reference. Does this make us funny? Are we winning?
It's way past games now.
If only this were a way past game. Tron Evolution gets 2 awkward screams out of 5.
Well, what have we learnt not to do in a review? 1. Don't act like you speak for an entire fan base. And 2. Try playing the game harder. I played the game, and the mechanics are a bit hard at first. It's one of those games where you have to direct which way he jumps yourself, but they handle alright if done properly. Alright, one more video to go now, thank God, and it's actually a top 6, bit of a random number for a list, for the most annoying video game sidekicks. So, let's see how this one goes.
When it comes to annoying video game sidekicks, we've got to talk about Slippy from the Star Fox series.
Slippy here. I'm okay.
Among this frog's larger personality defects is his constant need of rescuing and inability to shut up for more than 3 seconds at a time.
You did it! I was worried for a moment.
Okay, so Slippy is on the list because he constantly needs rescuing from enemies. Okay, whilst that may be true, there's no point in ignoring the fact that your other team members need rescuing occasionally as well. It's not just Slippy. Granted, his voice is more annoying, but play Star Fox Assault, because his voice in that game is much better.
At number 5 is Navi, your fairy friend from the Zelda series.
Navi was only in one game in the whole series, Ocarina of Time.
Who will not stop bugging you. If I hear, hey, or listen, one more time, I swear to God, we are turning this video game around and going home.
Listen.
The 4th spot is occupied by your sidekick in Def Jam Fight for New York. No, literally, it's a sidekick. In this game, you get texts and voicemails on it telling you about your next fight.
Hey man, it's Blaze.
I'm glad the iPhone came around.
How the hell is that annoying? Any sort of proof to back up your argument would have been nice, because otherwise I'm not convinced.
Number 3 is Hupo from the Klonoa series.
Hupo? How is he annoying? He's a useful and well-developed character in the game. Let's see what retarded reason you have for hating him.
Our main gripe is how he constantly introduces himself despite nobody caring who he is.
Uh-oh, you fucked up again.
This is Klonoa. He's from Wind Village, and my name is Hupo. And my name is Hupo. And my name is Hupo.
I'm Adam from X-Play, and no one gives a who you are.
And I'm Hupo.
Second spot belongs to Sheva from Resident Evil 5.
Really? Sheva? I don't know. Is she more annoying than...
Leon! 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 Help me, Leon! Leon!
We'll keep this quick. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. God, you suck at being a sidekick.
That's why I'm your partner.
Okay, I wonder who number 1's gonna be.
And who else could be number 1 but America's favorite flying fox, Tails?
This is terrible!
My thoughts entirely, Tails. Why the fuck is Tails number 1, let alone above characters like Navi? Your reasons for hating him are probably going to be as stupid as hating on Hupo.
Oh, sorry, that's not my cell phone ringing. It was my gaydar beeping so fast that it produced a ringtone.
This isn't funny!
Really, Adam? How necessary was it to use gay as a bad point against Tails? You don't want people to think you're homophobic now, do you?
But obviously, that's not why we object to Tails. I mean, he's sort of the ultimate nuisance. Eardrum-piercing voice, check.
Let me help!
That's only his 4Kids voice actor. The new one in Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations is much better.
Ability to state the obvious, check.
It looks like the princess was moved to another location.
Lack of any clear purpose, check and mate.
Gotta love how the only examples of Tails they're using are from Sonic 06. You know, that one Sonic game which everyone hates? That's not exactly the fairest way to judge the character now, is it?
I'll do my best.
See you in hell, my friend.
One of my biggest complaints of this video is how when they judge the character, they only seem to use one game for their arguments, like Star Fox 64 for Slippy, and of course Sonic 06 for Tails. But then again, this video came from X-Play, so I should have expected this from them. And that's my triple whammy commentary. In conclusion, I still stand by my beliefs on how awful a show X-Play is. Adam, Morgan, and all those others involved can't play games for shit, aren't funny, and just act plain stupid. They're just plain and simple bad reviewers. Well, I'm done with this video, and please don't ever make me return to this accursed show again. So this is ShadSilvson11 saying goodbye, take care, and I'm looking forward to the amazing Spider-Man movie.
Because we get tens and tens of emails every year about our negative viewpoint of the Sonic series,
More
we
like
here at
biased
X-Play will strive
viewpoint.
to create a fairly positive review of Sonic Colors for the Wii, starring everyone's favorite Azure rodent.
What?
I mean, Blue Hedgehog. Colors takes our hero on a trip to a nefarious carnival created by Dr. Eggman. It's up to you to save the aliens being held hostage for their powers by using their powers for yourself. Yes, it's a story better left on the floor of Friedberg and Seltzer offices.
Oh, come on! How could you even compare this game to the god-awful pieces of crap made by Seltzerberg? And besides, I thought you always complained about how Sonic games had too complicated storylines, and now they make it more simple, you still moan? Wow, there really is no pleasing you guys.
Better left in /fiction forums. What fans of the series have come to expect.
I know I say that every time, but this time really, nothing will stop me.
Remarkably, this is one of the best-looking Sonic titles to grace the Wii, which is like saying it doesn't remind me of a clown in a blender. It doesn't make my eyes bleed as much.
Okay, what's with these buzzer sound effects they keep adding?
Creative juices that they've been hoarding on the shelves into designing rather interesting environments like industrial Candylands. And maybe I was roughed up by a TSA agent a little too much, but even the writing seems to have improved.
Despite saying earlier that the storyline was crap, I see you started flip-flopping now.
Or to make underwear to be worn by Sally.
Unfortunately, creative juice doesn't go nearly as far as it once did, since so many of the levels are about as boring as watching The Mentalist.
Are you even going to explain why these levels are boring?
More entertaining than Skyline.
No, that's what I thought.
It's these wisp aliens that can give Sonic new powers or completely transform him into something new. Too many stages, however, are based around these slow, clunky, counterproductive powers that work against the main mechanics the series is so noted for: speed and platforming.
You know, I'll bet if this game didn't have the wisp power-ups, you would find the game to be boring and repetitive. And you say these power-ups work against the game's mechanics of speed? Laser, spikes and drill beg to differ.
Perhaps the one thing that Sonic Colors gets right is being the most 2D, 3D game on the Wii.
New Super Mario Bros. Wii anyone?
So when the game is not boring,
seriously, stop with the buzzer sound. It's not funny and it's getting boring really fast.
Series might just find a glimmer of hope in this beautiful mess. That's why we're giving Sonic Colors a 3 out of 5.